Set up here so that let's see if we're up and running. If we could get onto our platforms. How is everyone? I've not got anything pretty to show you here. Let me pop something in the frame so that you've got something pretty to look at. How's the light doing for us today? Let's have a look. Oh, just knocked my camera a little. There we go. Let's organise that at least. How's that? What I find is if I light up the my surface here, I create shadows, but I also then make myself very, very bright, which is a bit weird, isn't it? So, how is everyone? Let's just double check. Oh yeah, there we go. We seem to be. Oh, I'm turning myself up instead of down. There we go. So we seem to be up and running. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Excellent. I'll just check that YouTube is working, which I think it is. Yeah. Excellent. Oh, well, that's good news then. That's really good news. I like to make sure that we're working. Hello, Angie. How are you? I'm doing great at the moment. Let's have a look at what we're going to do today. So, I have got an idea of what I want to make today, but I'm just. There's always a little bit of playing around to make sure things are working, but I think we've got things organised, haven't we? How is everyone today? I know some of you guys catch this while you're on your lunches at work, and so on. Let me just see if I can bring my camera a bit closer. Well, not closer. You don't want to be closer, but I felt like I was a little bit not in the frame there, which is a bit weird, isn't it? You're kind of looking at the side of me rather than at me. That's better, isn't it? So I've got an idea of what I want to do today, and I'm going to make a card for my mum. So hopefully my mum isn't watching, because that would be a bit awkward. So I've got an idea of what I want to do, and it's going to involve some of our papers. So let me just grab. I did think I had my paper pad in here. Oh, I have, but I have used quite a lot of it. So do I have another one? I hope I've got another one. I don't think I have. I might have to raid Time for Tea stores for another one, because I think I've used quite a lot of it, although I might have got some sneaky bits in here. So I'm making a card for my mum. Now my mum, as you know, if you've been watching us for a while, you will probably know that she is a crazy cat lady, just like me. So I wanted to do something with a cat theme. We've got lots of cute sets that have got cats and things in them. I mean, I do love our little bunnies. I thought that would be quite a cute one to do. But I wanted to focus on the kitty cats today. Like I say, it's for my mum. So, where's my set? This is the one that I wanted to go for today, because she also loves a good cup of tea, does my mum. So I thought that would be quite a good one to do. See, I do, obviously I love this set here, which is the Sunday Sweeties, but she doesn't like sweet things. She does love a good brew, so that's why we're going for that one. So I'll have to use that one at another stage. We'll pop that up there. And then from a dies perspective, and I've got this set out as well, just because there are so many lovely little sentiments in there, but I don't know if we're going to use that. I think we might stick with this one. Now, I'm thinking, because of what I want to do, I might use a larger card, a slimline card. I don't know, but because I want to use my papers as well, you see. Oh, my large frames. I think I might go with the large frames, because I've not used those much. Let's have a look. What else? I definitely want to use my alphabets today, so that's why I've got those out. I love this die. This is a good one as well to have. But I want to spell out the word. I want to spell out quite a long word, not just mom. So that could be, this could be my issue, is that I might not have a card base big enough for what I'm planning, because, oh, right, okay. I'm getting all kinds of different ideas now as I'm looking through my dies. Do you guys ever do this at home? Just look through your dies for inspiration? I know I certainly do. You know, it gives me a good starting point for things. So I've got a few little ideas there. Let's pop this away, because there is one other stamp set that I know I'm going to need. So I'm just going to have a little look through here and see if I can find it. And it is this one. So this here is basically your mum and dad set, and it's got some great sentiments in there. It's got your Happy Mother's Day, Mum. It's got Dad, from your favourite child. You're my favourite of all my parents. So there's some really cute sentiments in there. So I'm going to use that, I think, as well. So let's pop that up here. And then we may also go for maybe a bit of a stencil in the background. Like I say, I'm also looking at, I don't think I'm going to go with the die for Mum, although we do have that. And I also have got the big birthday wishes, which I thought would be quite a good one. So we've got, I don't know if you guys can see here, I've got the Mum die here, and I got it from my mama as well, which is a really cool one for Mother's Day and Mum's cards. But I want to spell out something else, I think, using the stamp set and dies. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get this all to fit onto my card base, because that's going to be my challenge. So let me get, oh, I could have shown you last week's cards because they were very cute. I had them in here all along. This is also a good card base background, but it's portrait, and I think I'm going to be looking at a landscape view. So just so that I can fit everything on, basically. So have I got, don't think I have I? Oh, let's use that stencil yet. No, I don't have a card base in there, so bear with. Just try and find a card base. So I'm going to use probably an A6 size card base, although that looks A2 to me. Oh, actually, I've got some pre-cut larger card bases. So these are 5x7. And I know normally I don't do 5x7 cards, but this could work quite well with what we're trying to do, because like I say, I am attempting to do something a larger kind of sentiment on here. So if we look at the largest of our frame dies, you see that's this size. So they're just card bits, and this is an A2 size card base, so you can see how much shorter that is. So that's not going to give us all the room we need, but this could possibly do that. And I'm also going to have quite a cool frame here as well. So let's have a look at what I'm intending to do here. Like I say, I've got a very rough idea, as usual. So yeah, so I'm going to have this little guy with his cup of tea here or there somewhere, and we're going to spell out the mum you are. Now I need there. You've got your, so that'll work. And then using my dies, I want to spell out the word where's my R gone? There it is, it's upside down. Perfect. So I'm going to need 2 R's. So you see we're going to need quite a bit of space here to spell out this word. So it's going to go all the way across. But obviously we can do some overlapping and moving about to make that fit. So if I take this, and you see that is gonna take up quite a bit of space. But like I say, we can overlap some of these. They don't have to be, you know, that makes quite a nice little situation there, doesn't it? And then we're going to have our little teacup, and then some of these accessories, maybe a little biscuit and the tea bags there, which would be really quite cute. So that's my plan. I do like that. I think that's going to look quite cute. And I think I am going to go with a smaller card base and overlap those dies. Let me just pop those to one side, and I do like this frame as well, but whether I can use the frame, given that we're going to be using a lot of space, I might not be able to. What I might do instead is use a smaller outline die, but I do like this a lot. And my thought is that I might cut this out some paper and cardstock. That would look quite good, wouldn't it? Let me see if I can find an A6 card base. I don't know why I'm struggling to find an A6 card base. I feel like I'm all out of A6 card bases, which is, again, I'm going to have to raid Time for Tea Towers. Yes, that is. All out of card bases. That is a tragedy, but you know what? We can make our own. Yeah, I think the A2 is just going to be a little bit too small. Let's have a look. Angie says it's her last day in the UK before she flies back home in the morning. Yeah, the A2 is going to be too small. I would definitely want an A6 size card base. Can't believe I've run out of A6 card bases. I am I'm sure I saw one. I'm convincing myself now that I do have one. let's make one. Let's do it. Let's make one. It's no biggie. So, if we're going to make an A6 card base, I need to think about what colour I'm going to be doing my card. So, I've got, like I say, I've got some of my papers here. And I've got some really nice, some lovely papers in my stash. And I do particularly like the last release, the Joyful Winter. Some of these pattern papers are really very cool and so versatile. I love the colour scheme as well in this pad. You've got some lovely pinks and reds and some lovely blues as well. And I do very much like the wood grain effect, and I think that makes a really nice effect as a border, which is very cool. And then obviously we've got some stripes as well. My mum, I think, is probably going to be a big fan, possibly, of the blue, of the pink. Like I say, the stripes are very nice. I also like the houndstooth effect is really nice. So, got lots of choices here. I think that one makes a really nice background. Let's have a look. Which one do I prefer for this outer edge? I do very much like this one, like the almost a harlequin kind of a effect. So it's a kind of between these two. I do like both of these. Oh, choices. I'm going to save that one for my background actually. And I'm going to do the outer bit in the wood, because it's almost like we're creating a wooden frame, which is quite a nice idea. So let's go with that for now. Put that back in there. Let's see what this looks like. So I'm just going to pop my die onto here, and then we shall pop it through the die cutting machine. Hello Josh, how are you? Hi Lucianne, how are you doing? I hope everyone's really well today. It's quite a nice day here actually. It's been very, very cold though, and yesterday was quite miserable, so it's nice to see a little bit of sunshine. Sorry for the noise for a second. How is the sound actually? Because I've not really got my microphone next to me. Let me move this a bit closer. There we go. Then hopefully that'll be better for the sound. Angie says she loves the wood grain too. I do. I'm a real big fan of anything wood grain. See, that looks really cool. And what I'm going to do with this is I am going to, and we've got spare pieces there that we can use for another project. I'm going to use a bit of cardstock here just to double this up, just to give it a little bit of more support, because this is really good quality paper, but it is still paper at the end of the day. So I think I would like to just pop a bit of cardstock behind it to give it a bit more support. Through there perfectly. And then I'm also starting to think about what my background's going to look like. This centerpiece we can use for something else as well. So if you're looking for a nice, little insert that you can then, which we could probably use actually as the base of our background, be quite cool. In fact, I've got an idea for that. So of spare cardstock there. So my thoughts are kind of, and I've not fully thought this through yet, is to create a little bit of, I suppose, a bit of grounding for my character here. So we've got this situation, so to speak. We've got our cat here. It's quite a nice big character, and I might use that card base that we were playing with and just trim that down, because that would work quite well actually. And then, like I say, we've got our sentiments, which we can arrange along the back here. Yeah, that's cute. I like that. So that's starting to come together. I'm happy with this. I quite like this colour scheme as well. I like the this aqua colour with the pink. It's nice. I want to keep everything else a little bit more subdued. And then I've got to think about what colour I want to do my my sentiment as well. So, and also, do I just want to do a straight cut along here, or do I make this a bit of a wavy cut, or do I make it into grass maybe, or hills? You know, it could just be straight. And then for this background piece, I'm going to ink blend this, and I've just come up with this thought of maybe die cutting some of this stitched effect onto my background. So it's obviously it's not going to cut out this piece, but when I pop it through my machine, those little stitched effect will imprint onto my card here. So I'm going to pop this on here like so, and then we'll pop this back through the machine. Let's turn that over that way. I feel like my die cutting machine has moved. It sits on this lazy Susan, but I feel like it's like moved back a little bit. So you can see there already on the back how that's created a really nice imprint of those piercings, and we've now got this lovely design on our background. So I was thinking of maybe doing some stenciling on the back, but now we've got this little this really pretty pattern on the back. I don't need to do that, but you could still, if you wanted to, pop a stencil over the top. So do some ink blend your background, and then pop a stencil over the top with maybe some what's the word I'm looking for? Some texture paste, or so some sparkly texture paste, like I've got the Lone Fawn fairy dust, which is got all these lovely sparkles in, and that makes for a really pretty background. But again, obviously you need to let that dry a little bit. So I'm going to let's do some ink blending onto here. Lucianne says, all good here, spent a few hours stamping, colouring whilst the little one was playing in the soft play. Perfect. And Josh says he's just home working, as in the office this morning, but you're at home working now and watching a bit of crafting as you go. I made this cup of tea hours ago. It's still Lukish warm. But nice all the same. So now I'm just going to double check whether I want actually any grounding on the back of this, or whether I might just stick to this background with the yeah, I might just stick with and do some teals teal ink blending in the background rather than adding a floor. That might complicate it a little bit. I can try it, can't I? We can always add that afterwards if we feel we need it. And then I'm thinking what the colours that I'm going to go for are similar to the ones that are in the paper there. So maybe a bit of peacock feathers and salvage patina would be quite nice. What's that one up there that's hiding? Oh, that's prize ribbon. So those of you that are big fans of distress oxides like I am, have you seen the new shade of distress oxide that's come out? And what are your thoughts on it? I really like it. I love the corally peach colour anyway. So when I saw that was the shade that was coming out, I was like, oh yes. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get hold of any, but thankfully I have. So it's on order. It should be in the shop very soon. I've also managed to get hold of some of the Villainous Potion, which I've been trying to get my hands on for a little while now, and haven't been able to. It's never been in stock, so I'm excited to get some of that as well and get that into the shop. That's going to be pretty cool. So I'm just adding some of the salvage patina using my teal or aqua coloured brush here. I'm just laying that colour on the top, and then I'm going to go in with the peacock feathers at the bottom. I'm not cleaning off my brush because the colours blend together really well, so I don't feel the need to do that. And I'm just going to add the peacock feathers along the bottom. And one thing that is a good idea to do, let me just see if, just get a post-it note here, and I'm just going to stick it to my fingers, because I do tend to get very inky fingers. I just realised that I'm not recording this, so I'll just quickly stick the record button on. So yes, I'm adding the ink along the bottom here. And I'm going to blend the two together across the middle. So again, I'm going to go back in with that salvage patina along the middle and work those together. And then blend up towards the top. So we've got a nice little bit of an ombre effect going on. I do think we need to deepen this at the bottom. And I don't know why I don't put my inks on here, because they stay in place when you pop them on the silicone mat. Oh, that's the one thing that I didn't add back into the shop. We do have some of these silicone mats available now, so I will add those back into the shop, because I know a lot of you ask about them. And they are very cool. I don't really do any ink blending without mine now. It protects my surface, and like I say, it's a good way of keeping your inks in position when you're actually using them, so that you can kind of use them one-handed. And I know there's lots of other products out there at the moment to help with that, but I think this is kind of it does everything you need all in one, which is always good. Good for the bank balance, as well as everything, as well as storage space, because you know you don't want loads of tools hanging about, do we? So let me just give this a little clean up, because I'm going to do I'm also going to do my my sentiment here. Now my sentiment, I'm torn now as to what I do with my sentiment. What colour should we do? Do we do white? Do we do a pink? should we do? So we've got, while I'm ink blending, I think I might as well do all of the ink blending. So this is what we've got so far, which is looking really cool. And I think the white will stand out really well against there. So I'm tempted to do white. But I also think a bit of colour could be nice as well. And maybe we could double it up a little bit in terms of having a bit of shadow in the background. Interesting. I think the white is really going to stand out, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, just for the fun of it, is take a bit of this cardstock that we had earlier, and let's just trim it down, because while we're stenciling and using our stencil mat, we might as well do a bit of extra ink blending on here. So I'm going to grab my pink, and I'm going to do we do need a pink that goes really well with this this background. Oh, so I am thinking, is Abandoned Coral a bit too pink? Is the Worn Lipstick not pink enough? Maybe let's try a bit of both and see what we think. So we've got our Worn Lipstick here. I'm just going to pop this here. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is my Worn Lipstick, and then this end is my Abandoned Coral. And the two of these together might be what works particularly well. So this is my my panel piece. I'm thinking that the Abandoned Coral is possibly a bit closer to it, but the two do work very well together, I have to say. So it may be a combination of the two is what we go for. So I'm going to start with the Abandoned Coral, and I'm just going to do this all across. I'm going to grab my bit of Post-it as well, just to protect my fingers here. And get a bit of coverage going all the way along here. I have used this Abandoned Coral for quite some time. I feel like it might be a little bit on the dry side, but they do last for a good long time. I feel that the Distress Oxides. I've not had to re-ink or replace any of mine yet, but I do think, oh, I tell a lie, my Spun Sugar was the only one that I think I've ever had to replace, and I don't use Spun Sugar an awful lot anymore. So at one time that was obviously a go-to colour of mine, but that might have been when I perhaps didn't have as many colours in my collection. So maybe I used it because I didn't have as many pinks to choose from. Now obviously we've got an awful lot of choices, haven't we? So I'm laying the Worn Lipstick over the top, and you might think, well, that's, how is that going to show up? But it's, the Distress Oxides are quite opaque in that they do layer on top of each other really well, and what that's going to do, it's just going to add a different tone to that Abandoned Coral, and they're going to blend really well together and hopefully give me a colour that matches really quite well with my background piece, so that when we cut out our sentiment from it, it's going to look like it matches really well. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to pop those to one side. I think that looks looking really pretty, and I was tempted to maybe do a bit of splattering onto it, but I don't think I'm going to for the sentiment, but I'm going to do for my background. So let's give this a clean, because you know I do love a bit of splatter. Let's clean off my brush a little bit. I've been getting into the habit of not really cleaning my brush off, which I absolutely should do more often. It doesn't hurt it not to. It's just that sometimes I forget that there is still colour on there when I come to use it again, and although it is the same colour family, sometimes it might be a bit darker than I was wanting. So let's go to this. I'm going to hide this because if I splatter any water on that, you will see it. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and let's start with a little bit of water to begin with. So I've just done a light spritz in there, and then I'm going to do some larger dots as well. So I've taken the nozzle out of my bottle here, so that I can just knock off those larger bits. And then have I got a little bit of kitchen roll in here? I'm sure I have, yes. Kitchen roll in here. So I've got a little cart by me. It's got all of my essentials in it, and then we're just going to blot up some of those dots. Love that. That's very cool, isn't it? Oh, that is very cool. We could also add some sparkle here. So I've got my silver sparkle here, which is our silver sparkle spray. I've also got, I've got some aquatini as well. I'm going to give these a shake up, because all of the mica of these is settled at the bottom. I'm not going to shake it up and down, because that will push the mica into my nozzle and potentially block it up. So I'm shaking it from side to side to get some of that moving. So let's get some of that moving around. See, and when you can see that now that is fully mixed together, which is great. And I could do the same with the, so you can see how that's all settled on the bottom there, I think, possibly. So when I give it a shake up from side to side, that will eventually come off the bottom and mix together. And these create beautiful, beautiful sparkles on your background. But they obviously, if you're going to spray the whole lot, you're going to cover your whole background. And I want a little bit more of a subtle effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do similar to what we've done just now, but I'm actually going to use my paintbrush, I think, for this. And I'm going to add a few dots to an acrylic block here, or you could add them onto your silicone mat actually. So now this is all nicely mixed, you see, we can add this onto an acrylic block here. And I can pick this up with my my paintbrush, and now we can add just some little sparkles, splattery sparkles, metallic-y sparkles to our background this way. It's a bit more controlled. It is all over my desk. Don't let that fool you in any way. I just added a little bit of water to that to water it down a little bit. And let's just grab my water again and my bit of tissue. Wipe that clean, and then I'm going to add some of the silver. So again, I'm just going to make sure that that's fully mixed up, and I'm going to add a few bits to my plate there, and then go back in with my brush and add those lovely silvery sparkles to my background. How lovely is that? That's going to create such a pretty background now. So wipe that off, and it has gone literally everywhere, and I'll just give you a little bit of a closer look on camera. You'll be able to see those sparkles shimmer a little bit more once it's dried, but that's really pretty, isn't it? So, and I might use my heat gun to dry that off, but that's the Aquatini and the Silver Sparkle shimmer sprays that we have there. Let's do a little bit of a clear up. See, I've even got it on my dies here as well. It's literally gone everywhere. So that's fun. But that's all part of the process. So we're not going to you know, we're not going to blot that, because that will lift the colour, and I want to keep that sparkle, so we're going to leave that as it is. But I might, like I say, I might use my heat gun in a bit if it's not fully dried. So let's pop this away, and let's have a look at our images now. So I think we've got our background piece there, we've got our bit ready for our sentiments, we've got this made up. So I'm going to add, I might just stick this together actually with a bit of glue. So this is ready for our background. So a bit of clear glue on this. So yeah, so we used our wide frame to cut this from our paper, and then we've also cut it from some cardstock, and then we're just going to layer those two together, and thankfully the glue just gives me a bit of time to line that up. And that's just going to make it a little bit more robust when I come to add foam tape to it, because I want to pop this up onto my card base. And we do have this larger card base here. And my thoughts are that I'm going to just trim this card base down so that we've still got a white border, and then we've got this in the background. So I think that's going to work quite well. So let's trim this down now while we're planning. And then we'll get on to our, and it's nice to make I suppose a bespoke sized card for the occasion. It is a special occasion, being my mum's birthday, and I do like my Tonic Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer for this, because it's very strong and it will go through 2 layers, and this is really quite thick cardstock. So I think, if I remember rightly, this is actually Linda Chapman cardstock, a card base that was a huge one, like a 10 by something, I can't remember, because they like large cards, whereas my preference is the smaller cards. So I'd cut them in half. I think it will have been like a 14 by 10 or something like that. So I've then got a 7 by 5 out of it, because it was just too big for me, that size of card. So this is going to create a really nice base, I think, for our little setup here. So I need to do some stamping of my little images. So we get a stamping platform here. Here we go. So what's everybody been up to then recently in this freezing cold weather? Angie, what have you been doing while you've been home? We've been doing a bit of decorating actually, because I think we've just needed something to fill our brains given everything that's kind of happened recently. I do like the sentiments, the other sentiments that are in this set. Sorry, I just got distracted by them thinking, what else do I want to stamp out? Because she doesn't have sugar in her tea, but that doesn't mean that we can't stamp those out. But you've got the "You are tearific," "A cup of thanks," "I can't wait to have a brew with you," "You are just my cup of tea," which I think are really cute sentiments to work with as well. So let's we'll just pop those to one side for now. I'm just trying to think if any of the other sets have got anything, you know, that would work with this. But if we had more time, I think maybe adding some bits from some of the die sets that we've got would be quite cool. Right, let's look at my memento here and get these guys stamped up, and then we can get them coloured in. So yeah, so we're decorating at the moment. So Ant's stepdad is actually here at the moment downstairs doing some wallpapering for us. Oh, I'm going to use this little tool that I recently purchased just to see if it helps with my stamping. It just seemed to be quite good. I'm quite happy with that actually. I think it's just my ink is a little bit on the dry side, so I'm going to do that again just to get a bit of a brighter colour on there. But I do think that this actually did help me get a nice impression. Lovely, happy with that, very happy. And I want to actually stamp maybe another tea bag here. Just because I don't know if we're going to use it, but I'm going to stamp it just in case, because I'd rather do that than have too many than not enough. And I feel like we've then got three kind of accessories, which I like to work in odd numbers. So let's do that. Nicely done. Now I've just had a thought of our secondary sentiment, and I'm thinking I might stamp that out now. And my original thought was to put that onto black, so I just pop that one to one side. But now I'm thinking that maybe the secondary sentiment could be in a complementary colour. So so for example, let's just do a little bit of mocking up, and this is still a little bit wet, so I'm just going to be a bit careful. So imagine we've got our sentiments there. The black might stand out a little bit too much, so my thought process was, bear with me, because I need some of my cardstock scraps here, is to maybe use something like this to ink blend our, not ink blend, sorry, to stamp my sentiment on. Oh, we've got this colour here. No, I do quite like this. So I think this is our peacock cardstock. And I think that's going to make for a nice nice bit for our sentiment to go on. So I'm just going to snip a bit of this off, and we'll stamp our sentiment now while we're sentiment stamping. Let's That's quite a cute internal piece, isn't it? From something else. I like that. So let's pop these back in here. And pop that to one side. And we're going to do a little bit of kind of stamp surgery, I suppose. Here. Because I want the your, not the my. So mum, your is what we're going for. Now, I'm not sure whether to do them as two separate things, because you can cut out the mum, you see. So we could cut out the mum after we've ink blended it, or we could leave it as a bit of a banner. I think I might leave it as a bit of a banner, this one. So let's grab some anti-static powder here. In fact, I'm going to pop these on first. So we've got mum. That looks filthy. Why is that so filthy, I wonder? Let's give it a bit of a clean first, because I want to make sure that I get a good impression with it. So it looks like it's not being properly cleaned. So that goes on there, and then the your on there as well. Okay. And pop those like so, and oh, just create a bit of space for myself. I've started to, all my work surfaces come inwards. Angie says she's looking forward to getting back to her craft room. Hopefully your time for tea stuff has been delivered. May have brought 7 or 8 packs of fat quarters and other crafty stuff while you've been here. Also bought a few items of clothing, treats for hubby and the cats. Oh, that's so lovely. I'm so glad that the kitties have got you, Angie. We, as you know, we've recently lost our cat Clyde, and he was my little boy. I miss him every minute of every day. I think about him still, and you know, I do feel a big gap in my life, because he was around every corner. He was there. He was definitely, you know, very, very much part of my life. And the great thing, I guess the thing that I'm very, very grateful for is for the last sort of probably 18 months of his life, I've been at home pretty much every day with him, because now working from home. So, oh, I've just inked all that up and I didn't need to do that. So just bear with me 1 second, and I'll just explain what I'm doing. The your part of the sentiment is the only bit that I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cover up the other bit of the sentiment with my washi tape, so that when I stamp, add my ink to it, like so, and I can remove that, and I won't have got any ink on the part of the sentiment that I don't need, in theory. And then we're just going to stamp this down. I'm going to use my little tool, which I'm hoping is going to mean that I don't press too hard, because sometimes, particularly when I'm doing sentiments, I don't always get an even coverage, and a lot of that is because I press too hard. So that's been quite good. I've got a little bit of ink there, but we'll probably end up cutting that off, so I'm not too concerned about that. So I'm just going to pop this to one side for a second while we add a bit of powder to this. Sorry, I've used a bit of bit of scratch paper that had got writing on it, so I'll just turn that over because you don't want to see it. See, there's a little bit of it still come through there, which is probably from the first time that I did stamp it by accident. You saw me do that, so I'm just going to use my brush that away, and then that's going to be fine. Well, let's pop this back in here now. Oh, spilt a bit. That's annoying. So yeah, so I was saying, wasn't I, about my little boy Clyde. So we had considered whether, and we both, Aunt and I had both thought it separately, but not mentioned it to each other, the thought of fostering cats. But I think we both, you know, again, thought it through separately, and thought we probably wouldn't be able to give any of them up. So we'd end up with about 20 cats. Which might not be a bad thing. I would love that. I'm definitely, you know, a crazy cat lady at heart. So yeah, so I don't know what we're going to do. Rosie at the moment is being very, very cute and kitten-like. I think she's kind of realised that maybe Clyde's not here, but I think she doesn't seem to have doesn't seem to be really worrying her in any way, but like I say, she just seemed to be wanting to play with us a little bit more. But that could just be because she's not been able to go outside because the weather's been so bad, so I don't know. I'm undecided as to whether she really knows that he's not around. He did do a lot of sleeping, so it probably didn't impact too much on her day. Okay, so I'm going to rub this off with my microfiber cloth towel thing in a second, but I do just want to give it a moment to dry, because when it's still hot, there is the danger that you're going to potentially smudge it. So I do just, and I have done that in the past, that's how I know. I have put my finger in hot embossed powder, which, you know, it burns, and also it ruins your project. So that's how I know. Just give it a minute. Just give it a minute. Don't just poke it, which is what I tend to do with a lot of things. So I've now got a bit of embossing powder all over the back of my stamping mat, which is frustrating, but never mind. Hey ho, onwards we go. Let's put these back in here, and so yeah, so I do know that one of the things that we're planning on doing. Shall I put a sentiment on the inside of "From your favourite child"? Or "I turned out awesome," which is very cute. Or "You were right about everything." I don't know if I'm ready to admit that yet. Or we could put "Happy Birthday" in there, which would also be appropriate because it is her birthday. And we've got lots of dies that say "Happy Birthday." So I do want to, yeah. Have I got a stamp set that says "Happy Birthday" that I could easily grab and put my hands on? Might have to leave that one for after. So when I was thinking about what card I wanted to make today, I will be honest with you, I did struggle but in a good way, because of all the lovely things that we've got, all the lovely sets that we've got, and I just thought, it's just really quite hard to choose, isn't it, sometimes? So yeah, in the end I just thought cats is always going to be a winner with my mum. So that's why I went with the cat theme, and yeah, and then I just thought, do you know what, it will come to me once I've got my stamp set sorted. So does anybody else kind of have a way of figuring out what they're going to do when they come to craft, or do you already have an idea in mind before you sit down? What kind of things inspire you to get going? I think my light seems to have faded. I was a bit worried that that might happen. Not to worry. Let's see if I can put my actual home light on. Not that that really adds a great deal to the mix, does it? Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Zoom. There we go. Because I want to show you obviously the colouring a little bit closer if we can. So this is my colour scheme, isn't it? So I've got these around me to help me with my colour scheme. And obviously I've got this as well. So we've got pinks and teals going on. Now my mum's cat, Alfie, is a ginger Tom. Well, he's not a ginger Tom, he's a big fluffy ginger beauty of a cat. But I feel like that isn't going to match our colour scheme. Sorry, Alfie. So I am going to colour this a little bit like my little boy Clyde. And one of the good things about colouring this like Clyde is that there isn't a lot of colouring involved because he was basically black and white, and more white really than black. So let's just grab a few bits of colours here, because he had a few little Hi Amanda, how are you? Just woke up. So Amanda says she's just woken up there in Ohio. I don't know why I said it like that. Well, good morning to you. And Julie says, hey, just checking in as I had an asthma clinic appointment. So are you at the appointment checking in? Or have you just got home from the appointment? I hope you're all right. Anyway, bless you. So colouring in my little boy Clyde, he, like I say, he's mainly white with a few touches of black. So, and I'm not going to do him exactly as Clyde because I want to obviously add a bit more colour to him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some little smudges. He did have an all black tail. His feet were white, so we'll leave that as is. And just a few little smudges there of colour. I'm going to add some of the C7 into the centre of those patches that we've just done. And then some C9 that'll make it look even darker. So it's going to give us the feel of it being almost black without actually being black. And we'll go back in with that C7 just to blend those colours out. There we go. And then again with the C5. And I'm just dotting around the edges there, just to pull them out a little bit and soften them so they don't just look like triangles. Because even though I've done them in a kind of a triangle fashion, I don't want them to look like triangles. Because they're a lot more, you know, the colours, the markings on cats are a lot more organic than that, aren't they? So I think I'm going to go with the E40 and E41 to add a bit of shade in, because he's still quite flat here, and I also need to add a bit of colour to his ears. So I'm just going to check a couple. Oh, that's a nice colour. I've not really used this. So this is R30, and I think that's going to be a nice pale pink. One thing about Clyde was that he did have enormous ears in comparison to the rest of him, bless him. always had these great big cute ears, and they were very pink. You know, on the inside. So this is the E40 that I'm using, and I'm just going to use that to add a bit of definition to those paws and to his body, just so that it doesn't look too flat. And the E41 will just deepen that a little bit more, just so that we know that he is a three-dimensional character. You could even add a little bit to his little smile there as well, which is quite cute to do, into those paws. He also had very, very small paws, which we always thought was cute, because Rosie, although she is she's got smaller features, she had smaller ears, her feet did seem to be much bigger and much fluffier. So let's have a think about what we're going to colour the rest of this little guy in now. So the cup itself, let's have a think. What colour should we do the cup? I think I'm going to go with some shades of pink, and I do really like this shade of pink, this R30. Let's have a look at what other colours of pink we've got here that might, because there's kind of the salmony pinks that I think do work rather well here. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that might be quite nice. So we've got R30, R32 and R35. So this could be quite a nice way to go. So I'm just going to start with the lighter shade of pink along the top, and I'm not going to overthink this too much. Because you could really overthink it, but I think sometimes when you start to do that, you do overcomplicate things for yourself. So I'm going to cover all of this in this lighter shade, actually, because you could use this as a way of I guess making this a two shades in the same mug, but I'm going to keep this as just a pattern on a one colour mug, but with a bit of an ombre effect to it. So I'm going to use the R32 here, which is my peachy colour, to add a bit of shading and a bit of dimension here. And then just use that R30 again, just to blend that out and up. And I feel like I probably need a little bit of that under the paws there. Yeah, that works quite well. And then finally the R35, which is going to be a bit of a deeper red. We're going to just add that along the bottom there, just a little bit, and along these edges here, and in the background there. Yeah, I think that's it. That's just going to add a bit of depth to it. If we go back in with the R32, I'm just using like a bit of a circular kind of scrubbing motion to pull that colour out, because it is quite a deep colour in comparison to what we've used. That is going to add a nice bit of depth there, and then going back in with that R30 just to smooth that back a little bit. So we've got a really nice colour of pink going on there. I'm not sure whether it exactly matches the pink in our background, that's the only thing. But when it dries back, it might look a little bit more like we were hoping. It's a bit redder than perhaps I thought it was going to look. I've got a little bit of bleed in there, so I'm just going to use my my blender pen just to push that back a little bit. Josh says, Jo, do you have any plans release any more kinetic dye elements? And Lizzie says, hey Jo, just got in from work, thought I'd join you. Oh, thank you so much for joining. So when you say kinetic dye elements, do you mean some like interactive type dyes? At the moment, I don't think we've got any in the next release, but I am thinking about some for the release following that. So what sort of things were you hoping to see? I do love to hear your ideas about what kind of things you'd like to see. So I just need to get to my other pens. So I'm going to use a little bit of a teal colour here for my for my little tea bag what is this, like little tag, that's the word I was looking for, tea bag tag, which is cute. Let's go with BG34 here. That's does that go? Is that a bit too green and not enough blue maybe? This is where we start. Yeah, that one's a bit better, isn't it? So this is the BG13 and BG11. Yeah, they go together really quite well. But a lot of the BG shades do work quite well together, don't they? So I'm going to do the same, I think, with these tags. We'll do that one, and then I might do a bit of a pinky one here, which is quite cute. And then for the inside of my my Jammy Dodger, I'm going to go with the pink, obviously, because we've got a bit of jam in here. So I'm just creating a bit of shadow, I suppose, with that 35. Leaving sort of this side of things a little bit more shaded. Highlighted, sorry, is the word that I was looking for. So now we've got a situation where we're going to want some browns in here, which we haven't really got anything brown as yet. I'm going to use the E40 and E41 for the tea bags themselves, because that's kind of neutral. We just need to make them look, I guess, like they've got something in them. So that works quite well. And the E41, just to deepen that a little bit. Not being too precise with those. It's just to give it a little bit of an indication of colour. There we go. gone into full-on concentration mode now, haven't I? And then I think for the Jammy Dodger itself, normally what I would probably do is a richer kind of a brown, more of a caramel kind of a brown. But I think that this kind of a shade of brown is working with the colour scheme. So I'm just going to see if there is another, like a slightly darker, yes, E42. There we go. So I'm going to go with these colours again, just to keep the colour scheme together. I don't want to introduce too many new colours to our design here. So I'm going to cover all of this in E40. Which is quite, I suppose, a greyish tone at the moment, but it does warm up once you add the E40, the E41 to it. So I'm going to add that along the bottom here. I'm going to add it around the centre as well. And then to the sides of all of these scallops. And the top of the scallop there as well. So we're kind of leaving a lighter bit in the centre there. As almost the edges are being a bit more baked, is kind of what my theory behind the colouring of this. So it'll be lighter in the centre, all around the middle there, but my edges are going to be a bit darker because they've been a little bit more baked. So the E42 is going to really give us a nice bit of baked effect. So I'm going to use that, and what I may need to do is just let this dry back a little bit. I am going to let this dry back a little bit. I'm going to take my R30 before it does though. I'm going to add some pink cheeks, because why not? Pink cheeks on a little Jammy Dodger, why wouldn't you? That's bled quite badly down the bottom there, but don't worry about that, because we're going to, and I can still see that that's quite wet, this paper. So let's try it now. If your paper is still very wet, your alcohol marker will most definitely, especially if the colours are very close together like these are, they will just absorb into your background and blend themselves together, which is really what you want. But if you're wanting to show a bit more definition, then let your paper or your cardstock dry a little bit first before you add your next colour, and that means that it will just give you that little bit more of a defined and separate colour, as you can see we've got here now. So that's looking quite cute, but it's still blending really quite well, so it's not created really harsh lines or anything that looks too odd. It's just meant that we've now got that little bit of depth that we needed. And if you want to, you can still, even though it's dried back a little bit, go back in and blend those edges out a little. And that's entirely up to you what kind of look you're going for. Okay, cute. So I think that might be that done. I'm a little bit disappointed in the colour of the cup. I think the colour is a bit going to work with it and see what happens. Let's start die cutting some of this out. Yeah, it is a bit too, it's just a bit too red. But we'll see when it's on the card. Let me zoom you back out a bit. It is just cardstock. We can always do it again. Come on, zoom out. That's it. Not quite got it in the right place. There we go. A bit further. That's probably about right, isn't it? So I need to get the coordinating dies now for this. Just put my stamps back as well. And then we can start popping this little guy together. And I've not used this stamp set for quite a while, and that was when I was thinking about all the different things that I could do today. I did just think, oh, there's so many sets that wonderful sets that we've got that I just haven't used for such a long time. So it's nice to be able to use them again. So I'm just going to take some of my washi tape here and hold my dies in place, and I've got one here for my little tea bag. Oh, we can line it up right. There we are. So with these kind of dies where you've got a little bit of a swirl here that is, you think, oh, how on earth am I going to line that up? If you line up the other parts of it, you'll be fine. You won't go wrong. Ali says, now I want some tea and biscuits. And I got you live, yay! Oh, I'm so glad you could join us. That's cool. Josh says that he would love to see some kinds of scenes with moving and pop-up characters. Ah, I see what you mean. So this one does actually have a way of lining up. And if you twist it, keep twisting it round, you will find it. Trust me. It does line up. But I'm going to struggle to line it up, aren't I now? What I should have done is cut it out of some cardstock first. There we go, I've got it. Just keep turning it around and you'll find it eventually. But if you cut it out of some cardstock first and keep that as kind of your blank, if you like, then that will help you line it up for next time. I feel like I might need to put another tiny bit of washi on there, just so that it doesn't move. Let's pop this through my Gemini. And then I've got my other little tea bag here that I just need to die cut, and you can see there on the one that we've done there that has just taken out that tiny little piece in the middle, which is so cute. So let's pop this one on here. I wonder how they're getting on with the wallpapering downstairs. It's all very quiet, very almost too quiet. I'm just going to trim that. And I think we'll use the little machine for this bit. Just for the little die. I do have a Heavy Doodle die cutting machine that Leslie very generously we did a bit of a product swap, and I can't wait to use it. I just haven't had a chance to unwrap it yet. And I didn't have time before the live today because it has literally been from decorating prep, sorting orders and bits and bobs out, that straight onto the live. No time to do anything else really. So yeah, that is literally the way that we're rocking and rolling at the moment. Is we're just we're just having to just go from one task to another without any break in between, pretty much. And the tasks are such a weird mix of things, like the decorating or going shopping or tidying up or working. Such a, so many different things running from one task to another, which is one of the great things, I guess, about working from home, is that you can do that. So that's that. So now we've got all our lovely little images all die cut, which they do look adorable, and I'm really pleased with them, even though my colours don't 100% match, I don't think, but I still think that they're going to look really, really cute. So we've got those, and now we can start really cutting out and assembling. So my letters, shall we cut these out? Shall we get these cut out now? Because we're going to need these, aren't we? I'm going to need 2 R's. But then we're going to need the rest. I don't know why I don't need to spell it because we're not using them, as they're die cut. We're going to be separating them, but still. Let's stick each of these down on here. Lovely. Do they fit on there? Possibly. Yeah. Let's use the small die cutter for this, because I'm also going to cut them out of some white cardstock as well. And then I'm going to think about how am I going to cut out my other little sentiments. So we've got, I need 2 R's. So let's put that back on there. They do look nice in the pink. And even if we, we don't do the kind of the shadow offset effect, we will potentially layer them up anyway to create some dimension for them. So that's my R. Oh. So I did have some white cardstock, but I think I've used most of it, haven't I now? So let's have a look. Let's get some more scraps of white. There we go. That looks like a very good piece. Good piece of white. So organize this so you can see what I am doing. So we've got R, C, oh, and I've got paint all over my fingers as well. trapped in there. There we go. Perfect. U and a B. So pull that one out. B. I'm going to need 2 R's again. F, E, C, and D. There. So that's coming together, isn't it? Definitely. So let's put that on there. Somehow spread those out a little bit more, haven't I think? So they don't all fit on the plate. Smooth them up a little. There we go. And pop this through. Yes, because it's lunchtime, isn't it? Which means that we definitely want some tea and biscuits, don't we now? The funny thing is that my mum doesn't really like biscuits either. So my mum's she's very peculiar. She doesn't really do a lot of sweet things. Which does make her very hard to buy gifts for, I have to say, because you could think, oh well, I'll buy her a box of chocolates, but she wouldn't eat them. I also sometimes think, oh, well, you could buy somebody maybe a nice bottle of fizz or something. She doesn't drink it. She is very, very funny. She doesn't like sweet things. She doesn't really like alcohol. It's not that she's funny about it or teetotal or anything like that. She just doesn't like the taste of it, of any of it. She doesn't like like Coca-Cola or anything like that. She would never have like a soft drink like that either. So, which I guess in a way, is probably quite a good thing for your figure, and your health in general. Not eating a lot of sweet things and not eating a lot of sugary things or drinking a lot of alcohol. It's probably not a bad thing, is it? But yeah, for us buying gifts, it's very difficult, Mother. So, Alidella says it's bright and early over here in the US. So yeah, what sort of time is it then over there? I know Amanda, you're in Ohio. You said so, and that it was morning time. So yeah, I'd love to know what time it is over there and what is the weather doing. Here it is quite bright, but still feels quite cold, I would say. So I'm going to use this scrap of cardstock as well because I need some extra U's. I need 2 extra U's by R's, sorry, by my calculations. They're not from the same weight of cardstock though, so that's going to annoy me. So I'm going to have to, rethink that. Is that the same? No, but it's closer. That might be closer actually. I just want to try and get them, ideally you would use the same cardstock to cut all of your letters out, just so that they're all the same. Well, the same colour of cardstock as well, because they are different colours of white, it has to be said. But you also want them to be the same depth as well. So, yeah, that's not really doing it for me either. Let's have another look in here. There must be some more of that cardstock, she says. So that's the other thing, is make sure that you've got enough of the same cardstock before you start cutting. I think I'm just going to have to go for it, aren't I? Because I'm not going to find it. I mean, really, how do you find matching cardstock from loads of white cardstock? It's just practically impossible, isn't it? So I'm going to use this one, and nobody will know. There's only us that will know, and we won't tell anyone, will we, that it's not the same. So let's put my other letters there. I've got a C that's not come out. There we go. And pop. So at this moment, it's 3 degrees. So Alida says it's cloudy and warm at 38 Fahrenheit and 3 degrees C if you did your maths right. That sounds about right. That sounds. I can't work out if that's, yeah. That seems quite cold to me. I would consider that cold weather rather than warm. And it's 7:30 in the morning. So it's 1:30, just gone 1:30 here in the afternoon. So it is probably just a little bit past everybody's lunch times, I would say. Here, and while you guys are all having breakfast. So what have I got here? I've got 4 R's now, so that's good. That's good then. We've got 4 R's. We've got, I feel like I'm a P short, Bob. We've got U, T. Maybe it's still in the die. Yes, there it is. Okay, so here we go. We'll start popping this guy together now, can't we? This is the good bit. So this is our base. And that is our little background piece, which is very, very pretty. And we're going to have our little kitty cat, and maybe we'll cover up the cup a little bit with some accessories so it doesn't look like it doesn't work. And then we can either have, sorry guys, that's a little bit out of shot, isn't it? We can either have the pink perfect, which might be lost a little bit against that background. There we go. And we've got the mom as well. Or we can do this, you see, which I think we're going to do, because I think that's going to make it stand out that little bit more. Yeah, I like that. I think that's going to look cute. What do we think? I like that. Okay, so right. I also need to just work out how I'm going to cut out my sentiments here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my trimmer and cut them out as little tiles. The mum, shall we cut the mum out with the actual die that comes with it? So the die that comes with it is this one here, And what it will do, it will cut right around the mum sentiment. And then we've got the you are there, which there is a die. There isn't a die for that one. So, oh, and I quite like that little chappy as well. So I think I'm going to cut this one out. I think I am going to do it. I'm going to go for it. I think it's going to look nice. And my plates. Put them back, didn't I? Love the white on top, says Alidalis. Yes, I think that's the one to go, don't you? I think that's the one that works. It stands out much more. So you see now we've got that lovely little die cut. So I think that's going to look really nice. And also, while I'm here, I'm going to cut out this little speech bubble that's in here, and I'm going to cut that out of this teal as well, because I think that looks really cute. And I'm going to cut it out of white also. So you're going to have a little teal heart that cuts out of the middle, which is really sweet to have as an embellishment. But you're also going to have this as well, which is really sweet. So if we cut this out of some white cardstock, then we can pop the white into the heart space, which is going to be very sweet. Sorry, I'm moving my mat around here, aren't I? I'm going all askew. Got loads of die cut bits now. This is fun. This is the fun of it. Is that we have all of this stuff. Okay. There we go. So now we've got a little white heart there. And we've also got the white background, which we can layer the two of these together as well if we wanted to, just to add a bit of dimension. And then you've got the white that we can pop into the middle of there as well, which is going to look really cute. So that's going to look really, really quite adorable. So we'll just save that to one side. Let's see if we can start popping some of this together and seeing where we want it all to fit. So I've kept you for quite a long time today, haven't I? This has ended up being a long one. That's the only thing, I think, when you're a bit indecisive, like I am, that it can take you a bit of time to figure out what you're going to do. So I'm going to pop that. In fact, should we pop this down? We'll pop this down first. I'm going to use some of our shaker tape here to do that. Oops. Oh, don't fall down that guy. So we've got some of our narrow shaker tape here, foam tape, which is going to be ideal because we've strengthened this up as well with that bit of cardstock. So this is going to work really well now on our background. So a couple of things I need to remember to pick up from HQ today, isn't there? We need some A2 card blanks. A6 card blanks. What else was I short of? Oh, paper. Yeah. Paper. I can't believe I've used so much. But I can't. So let's take the backing off this. And get this lined up. Make sure that my card is opening the right way around. And then, sorry if my head pops into view, but I just need to line this up properly. And then I'm going to slot this into the gap there. And I want it that way around, because I want my dark bit at the bottom. I left the cap off my glue, which is a big... No, don't do that, everyone. Because then you won't be able to get back in it. Yeah, that feels like that's really dried up in there. There we go. I think we've cleared it. Just had a little bit of a blockage. So now, just to let you guys know as well, that are watching, and anybody that's watching on the replay, hello. And if you're still with us after all this time, yay. But yeah, we will be opening up the in-person classes again for later on in this month. So I've just got a few bits that I need to just confirm in terms of what we're going to be doing, so that I can get those details out to anybody who signs up. But we will be having the classes again at the it will be I think it's the 26th. Let me just trim this little guy out here as well. So again, we have got very limited spaces for these classes. So if you are interested in coming to one, then do sign up quickly. We are only going to do one in the afternoon this time, because that was the most popular slot. So we decided, you know, we've learnt from last time and gone with what people seem to prefer. Everybody wants to lie in on a weekend. That's fair enough. So do we. So I've just trimmed that down, and I may fussy cut it. That's also an option. But Mum, that could go in the middle there, couldn't it? There we go. Mum, your, and then we're going to have the perfect. And I might do these on this side. No, I'm going to do them this side. A little cluster, isn't it? With the little tea bags along the corner there. That's quite cute, isn't it? Mum, I don't like doing things in the middle. I feel like in the middle can sometimes be a little bit too in the middle. I like things to look a little bit more almost off balance is more balanced. I don't know what it is. It just pleases me more. So I have decided to fussy cut around my sentiment, which is something that I don't normally do because I don't think I'm very good at it. But I felt it goes better with the die cut Mum that we've done. So that's quite cute. Okay. Okay. That's cute. That's cute. So this is looking quite a nice little arrangement, isn't it? So and I just need to build up my my letters. So this hopefully isn't going to be too tedious for you to watch, guys, because obviously we need to build up all of these letters. So I'm going to do my best to make this not so painful. So I'm going to layer up a white and then a pink, like so. So we're going to have a bit of dimension to the pink first up. Where's my U? There we go. And then I'm going to layer up the final piece. I feel like I've got some that are a little bit whiter than others in these R's, but now they all look the same to me. They feel whiter. So, no, that one's definitely whiter. I don't know. So close. Does anybody else get a little bit obsessive over how bright white their cardstock is? When we were looking for some cardstock for our alcohol marker paper and card, I really was, very particular about how white it is, and there's a lot of super smooth cardstock out there that just isn't white, and I wanted it to be brilliant white, as I also want our card bases to be. So sometimes it is nice to have maybe a bit of an off-white colour for your card bases, maybe something a little bit different, but yeah, I am very particular. If I'm going to have it white, I want it to be really white. I don't want it to be cream. So here we go. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. And that's C, and then we have a T. And then I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to do a layer of white then on top, a little bit off center. Perfect. So I'm going to add my glue to the back of the letter that I'm adding on top now, rather than onto the letters at the bottom. And the question is, do I go up or down with my shadow? I think I'm going to go down, like so. That looks good. So, because if you add your glue to the letter that's on the bottom, you may not necessarily be adding your letter where that glue has been applied. So better to do it the other way around, and then the glue that you haven't used will just dry on the back and no one will see it. So perfect. And I think, projects like this, they do take so Laura's saying you do prefer the brightest white, and Aladali says yes, must be white. That's it. It's got to be right, hasn't it? And all the colours of your cardstock, your shades of white, have got to be the same on your project, haven't they? They do for me, anywho. So in-person classes, that's something to just let you know about. What else do I need to let you know about? Has anybody seen the collaboration that we did with Heffy Doodle this weekend? I think the competition is still running until the 3rd, so there's still an opportunity for you to win. If you haven't seen the blog, head over to the Time Tea Designs blog and you will see it there, and follow along. There's some absolutely awesome projects, really amazing. I'm always blown away by our design team and what they come up with, and the Heavy team have done some amazing projects. One of them, you know, is a bit of an aromatherapy type project where you can actually make your projects smell beautiful as well. So you must check that one out. That's a really cool idea. I loved that. So yeah, that's going on at the moment. And what else? What else is going on? Design team call. Speaking of design team, we have a design team call going on as well at the moment. Julie says yes, more in-person classes, whoop. And yes, seeing the collab cards, they were fab. They were really, really good. Right, so we've got our sentiment here now. So we've got a very wonky sentiment going on here, which I don't know, it does kind of work. I love the colours. It almost looks like it's a bit of a sea background, which is quite cute. So let me move this because I don't want my sentiment to be quite that all over the shop. So let's straighten this bad boy up a bit. I like them overlapping though, the sentiment. I think that creates a nice effect. I'm kind of into that. Being a little bit wonky, a bit on a curve even. Yeah, I like that. I like that effect very much. And then these guys down at the bottom here. And then the mum, you're perfect, sits at the top. That's that. Yeah, I'm liking that. What do we think? That seems to work for me. It does look like it's in the sea, but I'm okay with that. So this little dude, I'm going to stick on now because I'm happy with the placement of that. This one, I'm going to pop up on some foam. I'm going to tip him to that side a little bit actually. Yeah, that's better. These guys I want to add a bit of foam. So what did I do with my foam tape? Let's have a look. And I'm going to kind of start in the middle here with this F. Because I find it easier to start in the middle really and then work my way out. So let's just, then you know you're going to fit it all on, don't you? Holly Dolly says it's perfect. Laura says she loved the harp. Oh, I'm glad so many of you saw that. So let's do the E now. And I'm not too upset with the colour now. The colour bothered me at the start, as you know, but I feel like it does actually work. A little bit of the red stands out a bit more. I think it looks good. Do the C next. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of a speeded up version of this. Maybe edit that tomorrow so that if any of you are interested, sorry, I seem to have got frozen a little bit there. I don't know why that's the case. Then you can catch that. I don't know why it's got a bit frozen. We can speed up some of these boring bits where I'm cutting tape, but I quite like how that's on a little bit of a I'm just going to add a little bit of foam here, a little square of foam under this tag here, so it doesn't bob around too much. And then the T, I think, is mostly going to be propped up on the side here, isn't it? So yeah, I'm sorry if it keeps freezing a little bit. I'm not really sure why it's doing that. But I like the fact that these are a little bit not perfect in terms of how they're sitting. I'm going to put my P on first, I think, here, because I think that's going to, I need to make sure that that does fit on this side. So let's just use my tweezers here, see if that helps me position that. Yeah, that's good. And then the can go underneath. And I'm starting with my my sentiment here just because I think everything else kind of nestles in nicely, doesn't it? So let's do this R first. So I wouldn't want to do everything else too high up and then my sentiment not fit on. So yeah, I do seem to keep freezing a little bit. I don't know why. I do have this theory that when Anthony is in the building and is nearby and using the internet, that's what affects it, but I could be wrong. I could be doing him a disservice there. And then I'm just going to kick that one along the side there. I think that that could work. So a few more bits of foam tape here. Hopefully I didn't cut that one a little bit too big. I think the pink and white, doesn't the pink and white look really good? I find it very strange that you can see my face perfectly running fine, but then the screen underneath can be a little bit, sometimes be a little, stick a little. So let's pop the perfect, nice. This guy I want to pop up as well, so let's pop him up. The tag as well. Oh, I'm so sorry it's running slow now. Like I say, you can see my face. I am still here, but my fingers have stopped moving. And sometimes I think, oh, if I just, you know, have a little bit of a wave around, it picks me up again. I don't know. So I do apologise for that. Pop that along there. That's looking cute. So for these guys, part of them is overhanging and I don't want them to dip, so I do need to give them a bit of support, probably from around where the little decoration on the cup is. So I'm going to use that as my guide actually, and then do let me just move this up a little bit so you can see. So probably from about here, I'm going to do, just add a little bit of tape, foam along the back here to support the head, because you don't want that to dip. We want that to stand up. ugly, don't we? There we go. And a little bit of support for that little tail. Let me just double check that all looks grand. But it's just going to overhang on the bottom there a little bit. That's going to be good. And then so on the bottom here is where we'll apply some glue so that that sticks in place. And then we'll remove our foam tape. I have to say that I am getting like sea vibes from my background, and it's making me want to design a seaside kind of a set. So this little cutie can go on front, so probably just needs a tiny bit just to the top of the head there, because the rest of it is pretty much supported by what's next to it. Yeah, that works. So we just add a bit of glue on there, and then pop that in there. Cute. Okay, so oh, I nearly forgot my mum your because they're going to be kind of overhanging as well. So let me think, how am I going to do that without it dipping too much? Probably a few little tiny bits of foam tape is going to be the way to go, just where we can fit those in at the bottom. There we go. And then yeah, that's going to sit nicely there. Just gives it a little bit of support. It will stick just with the glue on the top part, but you know, you don't want it to bend. Maybe if you're posting it or it's being handled, you know, you don't want those bits to. Oops. Where do I want it though? Just there. Just there. And then your mum, you're perfect. So this is going to be a little bit trickier, I think, because the sentiment is quite small, but let's have a go. Oops. Yeah, that's cute. Mum, you're perfect. Let's move all of that mess to one side. So that's pretty much there. Now I did do this little, that's cute, isn't it? I don't know whether it would have been better in pink or, that's quite cute there as well. That's quite adorable, isn't it? What do you think? Quite like that. So in order to put this together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those together like this. I'm going to grab a bit of tape, foam tape, snip a bit off. Let's turn this over so it's on, so it's upside down, if I can, and slot that back together this way round. I'm hoping that the my friend just texted me a picture of a blue coloured tea. It's the same shade as your background. Blue coloured tea, what tea is that? Sorry, I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a, see if it can catch up with me when I do this, just to show you what I'm doing, because it's such a shame that this has suddenly slowed down. added the tape across the back, which now means that that's a hole, and it means then that I can add my glue around the edge here, just around the edge, not on the middle, because I can give that a nice teal coloured background, or sorry, outline, and the white heart is in the middle. So I hope that you can see that. I don't know why everything's gone very super slow. I hope it's not ruining things too much for you. I did quite like the idea of it being kind of at the top there, but I think it needs something in the middle here. Quite cute. Okay, I'm going to pop it there, because the more we think about it, the more we deliberate about it, the longer this video is getting for you guys. And I think we're pretty much going to leave it there. So the finishing touches for me then are going to be adding a little bit of glaze and gloss and white jelly roll. So I'm grabbing my white jelly roll. I've got my black glaze pen. I'm going to do my white effects first. So I'm just going to check that my pen is running on a bit there. Sorry if this isn't a great view for you guys. I like to add a few little freckles to cheeks, a few highlights to the edges of the biscuit. I think that's quite cute. A few little dashes here and there, just bring it to life a little bit. The same on my tea bags, which you know, are a little bit more difficult to see because we've only coloured them white essentially. I do like to add a little bit to coloured cardstock as well. I think that really helps. We're going to add some to our cup here, and I'm also going to cover up that bit where it bled a little bit. White jelly roll pen is the saviour of everything. Pea flower tea, that sounds so interesting. I must admit, I am pretty much just a Yorkshire tea girl, because I've never been one for like flowery teas particularly, but it does sound very interesting, I have to say. So just a couple of highlights on there, a couple of highlights on our little kitty here as well. Cute, and some little whisker marks is what I'm calling them. And then the glaze pen, again, I'm just going to knock off the top, because sometimes it gets a little bit of a skin on the top. So if ever you're struggling with your glaze pen, that could be why. And then just add some of that to the nose and the eyes, and that just makes them pop a little bit more, I feel. And then I did think that maybe a little bit of glossy accents to the jam will just finish this off. So, but of course my glossy accents has got a little bit clogged here. So, but I think my mum's gonna like this card. I do. I think it's been a long one, and I appreciate you joining me for the duration. But I think it's been, you know, labour of love. My mum is most definitely worth it. There we go. So I do appreciate you guys watching along and joining me on this mission to create my mum a birthday card that is unique, that you won't be able to buy anywhere in the shops unless you have a lot of time for tea stuff and you're going to make one yourself. I actually am really pleased with how that's turned out. Now let me give you a little bit of a closer look. I see the jam on the little jammy dodger all shiny. I love that. Can't remember, my words have gone. I think I might need a cup of tea. I think it's about time I had a brew. Yeah, I think she's going to love that. What do we think? I think that looks really cool. Thank you so much for joining me for this and sticking with it. Like I say, I will try and do an edited version for those of you that couldn't stay the course. It's been a long one. And I'm sorry for any freezing along the way. I hope that didn't spoil your enjoyment too much. We will be back again on Thursday evening at 8 o'clock here on both Facebook and YouTube. So I hope that you can join me then. And I will keep you posted on any other announcements about the upcoming in-person classes and what you can expect and when you can start placing your orders for tickets. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day and I will see you all again really soon. Thank you guys. Bye. Bye.